Good evening, friends and family, and maybe some new friends. JD, the quarterback Mike, saluting everybody and wishing everyone a very Merry Christmas. Let me see if I can adjust this just a little bit. Um, I've just pretty much what's the right way to put it? I went through a day where I didn't eat, and then I did. So I'm full of carbohydrates at this time. Tomorrow we go back on the straight and narrow. At least that's the game plan for now. And wishing everyone a very Merry Christmas. Hope that you got to spend time with your loved ones. And this has been an idea that I've had in my head for quite a while, and I just have not gotten to it yet. And it's this. Thank you, Tom Leykis, as Aaron Clary, uh, America's older brother, and the head man at Asshole Consulting would say, Saint Tom, because Tom Leykis has helped save many an individual, or especially man, from uh, difficulties in their lives. That realizing that one of the reasons that we go into debt is spending too much money on women. And St. Tom, or Tom Leykis, with his Leykis 101, taught a generation of men and women actually as well not to overspend. And some of those lessons were lessons that you might have learned from your older brother, like Aaron Curry calls himself. But really, what the reason I want to focus in on Tom is that earlier this year he said that he was done with developing new content on his own and will go off into retirement, but may be gone but not forgotten. Uh, Really, I feel like there's about three different epochs or eras that I had with Tom Leykis. And the first one was when in the late 90s, when Tom took over for, actually, he was on in the early evening, late evening time slot at WNEW 1027 back in the old radio days. And he was there for a little while. And then after Opie and Anthony got fired, at one point, his time slot changed. Uh, he had actually gone off the station and then he came back. So this is all part of the first time that I heard about it. And I remember my brother, who was in the Navy at the time, was in Seattle and had actually been at an event that Tom appeared at. And my brother, I believe, met Tom, albeit briefly. And my brother had a card that Tom's, the radio station, I think in Seattle at the time, near where my brother was stationed, uh, had five rules for Lycus 101. Um, Really, it's not so much the rules that the important thing. The important thing that I got from Tom at that point was how to conduct yourself. Now, I was married at the time, so I couldn't use the skill set that Tom taught, but uh, how to conduct yourselves with women to be successful. And basically, as he espoused, it was uh, more tell, less money, bottom line. So he discussed strategies that men could use to get from point A to point B with the least amount of complications. Um, and Tom wasn't necessarily a pickup artist because that's not what he taught. As a matter of fact, what I do remember is him always saying that the best pickup line is no pickup line, and to kind of create an aura around yourself so that people are attracted, or women are attracted to you, because you're maybe different is one way to put it, but also that you have an air of success around you. And he also mentioned to his listeners to be as successful as they could be, realizing that your income is in a lot of ways will influence the type of women that you're able to attract. With more money, you can attract more women. Not that you pay, but it's like Tom used to say, it's like you have a bakery and you let them in to smell the dough, but you don't give them any. And over the years, as that was sort of the first two waves of the late 90s and then 2000, and then uh, later on when he went off the air, WNEW, as Tom Leykis forecasted, changed from being sort of a talk show format, WNEW FM, to being, I think it was dance music they went to. And he said many times that that's what they were going to do, and exactly what happened. But his show remained syndicated out of Los Angeles for many years until station, his home station, changed their format in 2009. And then he went to uh, sort of a semi retirement. Actually, he was getting paid by CBS Radio, and uh, but he was being paid per his contract, not to go work anywhere else. So during that time period, that's when Tom came up with what was become his next venture, and that was internet streaming radio. And his producers and well, actually producer and call screener extraordinaire, uh, Gary and Dino, were the first show on his New Normal network, which New Normal comes from a comment that Barack Obama had mentioned while he was president, saying that this is the new normal. And Tom found inspiration from that, and he named his network the New Normal Network. So during the time that he was contractually forbidden to be on the air with CBS Radio, he followed his contract to the letter. CBS paid him everything that they were due to pay him, and then he came back as the number one internet streaming live radio or broadcaster. And that show ran from, I believe, 2012 until, I think it was April 1st, 2012. I may be off a year, until he decided that he was going to stop doing live broadcasts in 20. He decided, I think, at the beginning of 2018, and September 25th, 2018 was his last program. But during that time period, uh, I had not thought about Tom in quite a while. And in 2015 or so, I found out that he had an internet program, and I started listening to it and contributing bits to it, uh, to his show. And then later on, when he stopped going live, I contributed bits to the Gary and Dino show. But the reason why I bring Tom up as Tom Leykis is he became one of my heroes. And hero doesn't mean that you love everything about someone, because I had differences of opinion with Tom, uh, but a hero in the sense that here was a guy who, from his teenage years, he had won a contest to have an hour on a local radio program where he was a DJ. Now, he thought he was going to play his own music, and the story that he has told on a few different occasions ended up being that he learned the facts of the radio business, which is you don't get to pick what you play. The radio station tells you what to play. And he ended up having to do that. But from there, he started his career trajectory, although he did have many a story to tell between going to Fordham, not being able to finish his education there, and then having to make that fortuitous, actually, can't even say it right, uh, that fortuitous move to Virginia. And then from Virginia, if I remember the trajectory right, he ended up in Miami making three times what he was making. And that brought him more exposure before he went to LA, to Phoenix, and back to LA, which is where the balance of his radio career ended. And then he had a home that he still owns in Hollywood Hills, and his ranch in Santa Barbara. But what made Tom such a hero is that he went pretty much from nowhere, somewhere, and I think he said it was Selkirk, Long Island, to Los Angeles, the biggest radio market in the country. Not the biggest media market, perhaps, but the radio market was the largest. And he became super successful. And he taught a generation of men and women, especially men, how to be successful in their lives and vis-a-vis, excuse me, and also with women. So uh, Tom was probably, you could say, one of the progenitors of the red pill movement, although he might not go along with that. I'm sure he would agree that he had a role to play. I don't know. I haven't heard him interviewed on that specific subject, but um, a lot of things that Tom said made sense. Like I said, I didn't agree with everything that he said, and I may not have used all his techniques or am as successful as he is, of course. But the point is that you can gain a lot of knowledge from someone and be able to use that with other people. And I just want to give back, give credit to Tom for all that he's done. From Tom, one of the advertisers that he had for years was an author named Aaron Clary, who I did mention earlier in this live stream. Uh, Aaron has ended up becoming not my older brother, because I'm actually older than he is, but you can check out Aaron Clary, capping, Captain Capitalism, on his YouTube channel. And but between Tom to Aaron, and then from Aaron, listening to Rollo Tomasi, um, listening to other people in the so-called manosphere, uh, I really felt like it changed my life for the better. And I think that's what we're really here to do, is to help each other to be better. And sometimes when you're a trailblazer like Tom was, sometimes you offend people because uh, people, not only can they be easily offended, but uh, they can be lulled, like the sheep that some people may think that we are, lulled into believing that everything they think is right. And maybe for them it is. But when you are challenged, like Tom challenged his listeners from time to time to think, and as Henry Ford said famously, that thinking is the hardest kind of work there is. So just thinking today about Tom, and that in this year he, I guess you could say, decided to hang him up. Uh, I think that he left quite a legacy, and that those of us who were fortunate enough to listen to him live and participate with him, and there were a few different times where I called this program when he was on the live stream, and shared and talked about DTBing, or the time I took a vacation and he was kind of looking to, or asking his listeners for some feedback on certain things. And uh, through him and what I learned from him, I think has made my life better. And let me send out the salute from JD the quarterback Mike to Tom Leykis. Thank you, Tom. And to everyone else, I hope that, as I said earlier, that you've enjoyed your Christmas, that you find your own heroes and you learn from them. And then when you learn from them, you share with other people that you've learned, because that's the way to prove that you learned something in the first place, is to be able to explain it and share it with someone else. And all one by one, we can make this a better place by one interaction at a time. Uh, you might say the butterfly effect. Of course, we're humans, not butterflies, but you get the gist. Okay. Merry Christmas. I was thinking of singing, but it's kind of late. Uh, but para mi gente que habla en español, a feliz Navidad, que Dios cuida a ti y todo en tu familia, que terminaron este año bien con Dios adelante en todo y que el año 2025 sea lo mejor para ti todavía. And I'll translate that now to say to you and your family, may the year end well, and may you have your best year yet in 2025. It's JD the quarterback. I'm like, there's no one else like me. And I hope that we'll be sharing more and more time together in the next year. Have fun. Get it done. Good night and Merry Christmas.